Hello everybody, it's your boy N here. I'm coming at you guys with another YouTube video. Let me give you a bunny setup that's going to annihilate the Supermassive Receptor dungeon. Let's get right on into it. So starting off with the actual modules on bunny, this is what we're going to go with. Mid-air maneuvering, because we want to take advantage of movement, and we're also going to be using electric condense. Electric condense is bunny's main nuking setup, so we will be using that. Next up, because bunny does need big boy damage, we are going to be using all of her crit mods. So crit on bunny here is going to be essential. Now with crit, you always pair it with maximum cooldown. So we pair it with max cooldown so we can spam our abilities. So we're going to go with MP conversion as well as nimble fingers. Now you have the option of focus on fusion or focus on singular in this specific instance. I would recommend going with focus on singular, but I do prefer focus on fusion because it makes my condenses hit a little bit harder, which doesn't really matter because you want your ring to also be doing a good level of damage. So actually I would say go focus on singular. Next up, focus on electric because bunny is an electric type Pokemon. And then we're just going to finish this setup off with range. Now we're not going to be going with amplification control. We will be using expansion, but amplification control, honestly, it's just not enough range, so we will be using maximize range. The negative 20% skill power modifier is really not bad, given that we don't have maximized conservation on here. This is a small price to pay, but we will be getting plenty more range out of it, so it's definitely worth it. Now over for our trigger mod, I will just go straight over to Power Beyond. This is because, well, Power Beyond is nice and easy, so it's going to be a flat increase in damage and also a nice increase in attack reduction. So as you can see here, we've got 14.3 meters radius on our condense and it goes absolutely nuts. Let me show you the rest of the setup. Next up, I'll quickly slide the weapons in here. So for the weapons, we're going with two weapons, very easy to use. Number one being the Blue Beetle and number two being the Deus Ex Manus. Now you might be confused, but hear me out. I'll show you. Next up, reactor. For the reactor, we're going to be going with cooldown and crit damage, specifically these two on a fusion reactor, because we want to buff the daylights out of our condense, and we also want the cooldown so we can spam everything. Next up, for our external components, we're going to go with two pieces. So we're going to go with 2 pieces of ascending armory. This is going to allow us to have a little bit of skill cost reduction because we won't be using that anywhere else in the setup. Next up, we're going to be using 2 pieces of hunter. Hunter will allow us to spam even harder, which is exactly what we want. For your cores or for your comps, you want max HP, MP recovery out of combat, max MP, MP recovery in combat, and MP recovery modifier, and then defense or electric resistance is good, and then you just want max shield and toxic resistance. For your actual substats on here, you just want max HP and defense across every single one of them. That's going to be basically your best bet. And yeah, let's have a look at the arcade tuning. Now, the arcade tuning for this setup is going to be kind of strange. We're going to go down straight to defense neutralization. This is because we're going to be using the strip setup to do as much damage as we can. You can see here, defense neutralization is going to be a part of that. We also get a little bit more HP, so survivability is a little bit easier. And you want to go with your second part of this all the way up to enhanced skill cooldown. This is going to allow you to spam your condensers a lot better. And then you're also going to want to go up here to electric cohesion, and that's your arcade tuning tree done. Now for the weapons, let's get into them. The Blue Beetle, these are my substats and my cores. However, the most important things of note is going to be a grapple core, so you can spider everywhere, and then a sprint speed core, so you can run around at max speed with bunny. The other only important thing is, I would say, defense master, because this gives you a ton of defense, and defense means you survive a little bit better. So I'd say just have that on there and you're basically good to go. Next up, the Deus. This is my substats and cores. I've gone with 3 crit damages because I like fishing. However, I would recommend for a normal player going 1 crit rate and 2 crit damages. This is just because it would be safer and every hit would be a crit. However, in my setup specifically, it is not. Now, these are the modules I've got on my Deus. The biggest one, or the ones most worthy of note, is going to be overpowered. This is whenever you use the special, so the slam, you get 124% crit damage. you definitely want to charge this one up because it's going to do plenty and plenty of damage. This is what I've got on my Deus, so yeah, this is what I would recommend. Now for the inversions, real quick, let me give you the inversions. So we're going to focus on the sword, so we're going to use swordplate enhanced mechanism along with blade extension. This will allow, so once you get more, once you hit with swords, you get more crit damage, basically what you want, and we're just going to wrap it up with some skill cost over here. Now that's pretty much all you're going to want for your inversions. So let me show you some gameplay real quick. I've got a quick clip of the game that I ran like 2 minutes ago, so I'll just show you guys this gameplay. Now, the only other thing worthy of note is I was using amplification control inside of this gameplay and not maximize range, so the only other thing that could have happened in this gameplay is it would have literally been faster if I had used maximize range, specifically because it's more about mobbing and being able to delete / nuke and deal with all of the mobs effectively. But as you can see here, the way you play this build is basically the following. You just use Bunny's condense and then you just run around and nuke everything with her first ability. And I was also using focus on fusion here, so my third ability is a little bit weaker than it should be. But as you can see here with the Tyrant Claw, you can basically one-shot him. It's nice and easy. You'll one-shot him out of his immunity, and then once you get him over here, if you get a crit on his setup, you can basically annihilate his entire HP bar as well over here. I will get the crit, I hope. There you go. Just ripped half his HP off, nice and easy. The best thing to do is just, you know, go in with just spamming with condense and just RNG gods. If you use your first ability, that's also a very good thing to do, especially with the blue beetle. But as you can see here, I'm just making my way up to the next phase, nice and easy. The gameplay might be a little bit laggy. I'm having some issues with my PC, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. So yeah, other than that, the bubble mobs are annoying little shits. The way you want to deal with them is you want to go inside of that bubble and then pop your electric condense. It will still hit the mobs on the outside, is the main thing I would say. And yeah, that's pretty much the main thing out of that over here. But Bunny is honestly a solid option in this Ancestor mod. I've run Bunny faster than I've seen some people run Serena in here. So yeah, the fastest run I have seen in this dungeon, basically using the same setup, is from Bunny Honey, and she managed to get us 3:20. So I'm definitely doing something wrong, but Bunny Honey is literally just the god. I will leave links to Bunny Honey's YouTube in the description, and make sure to go show her some love and support. She's an absolutely top tier Bunny speedrunner, and she has nothing but my praise and respect. Now, she also uploaded this setup before me. I was just experimenting with it off stream, but she managed to drop the video first, so I kind of got cooked with that, but it is what it is. There's no hatred towards anyone in this community anyways. But you can see here, the way you basically just run Bunny in here anyways is just condense and use your first ability to like just nuke everything. You can see how condense just deals with everything, and then you can pop it again. Use your first and third to deal with the other mobs, and then there you go. It's pretty easy for the most part. You just have to keep an eye and make sure you keep moving. Because of the mobs being significantly higher ranks than you in here, you basically will end up suffering if you stay still, and they'll just nuke you very quick, is the main thing that I would say. Now, on top of all of this, it's also very much about being able to just balance yourself, I would say. Like, you know, you can run around and all that sort of stuff, but you need to know when to like dive into mobs, so on and so forth, you know, all of that, yada 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 yada. But you can see here, Bunny is literally just being able to just jump into faces, one shot them with condense. The range is very important, and you definitely want to you'll definitely want to go through with all of this. So you can see here, we're pretty much just nuking the last of the elites, and we're going into Pattern Flores. Now, Pattern Flores' stats are very interesting. She's level 190, she has 3.39 million HP, and then she has 1.1 million defense, 1.1 million resistance to all elements on weapons, and then she has 647,000 resistance to all skills. So yeah, she's an interesting one. This is where we pulled the Deus out though. So we're just going to use the Deus, charge it up, and then slam. And you can see here the slam on the Deus is enough to get her. yeah, that's basically just what you do. You're just going to want to jump into the middle with the electric condense, because you can see that you can just one shot everything with condense. Same with this, 1 2 3 4 and then slam, 1 2 3 4 and then slam. I kind of got cooked here, but I got lucky with the slam there, so it wasn't too bad. This run was 4 minutes 37 seconds, but you can definitely make this run a little bit faster. But yeah, that's basically been this video on Supermassive Receptor Bunny, and I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you did, please do smash that like button, and if you're new here, please do consider subscribing. I make plenty of videos on the first Descendant, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace!